My name is James Livier. I'm the Astral Monk James. And again, like Superman, I show you my true identity by showing you my costume. This is my Roman collar. It's made out of construction paper. What do you call it? No, it's cardstock. I made it last night. It's held on with a rubber band from a model airplane in the back. It's because, I have to act the part. I have to show what I'm doing. And this is a very powerful symbol. So I use it, and not to try to be a fraud or anything. It's just that you have to know what I'm doing, and I'm being a monk. I spent 6 years training to be a monk. I practiced being a monk for 8 years as a teaching brother in the Catholic schools in Mexico and New Orleans. And when I got into civil rights and left the religious order, I had an exceptionally interesting time in New Orleans, and then raising 4 kids, mostly in Germany, 20 years there, running schools, being in charge of school discipline and security during Desert Storm at 2 schools. One I was in charge of discipline at the Armored Division, 1st Armored Division in Germany, when their troops went overseas. It left the high school kids in a pretty tough situation, having dad and often mom also at war. And so as a disciplinarian, I had some challenges. Anyway, all the time that I was in Europe, for about 20 years, I was an adjunct for various colleges and so on in the evenings and weekends, building up my Social Security quarters. And I had a lot of good times. I taught mainly English composition, public speaking, but I threw in some science. I have degrees in all kinds of stuff. I call myself a generalist. And you'll notice that my channel here is Dr. Hands-on Science. But I have recently begun to identify myself with my original vocation, which was to be a monk. And so now I'm the Astral Monk, James. I hope that you can get something out of my Astral Monk videos. I'm going to put up Astral Monk videos, and I'm going to explain what I'm creating. I'm creating a religious order, as it were, brothers and nuns. It's not people that have to leave home when they're 16 years old and pledge their life, the rest of their life, as poverty, chastity, obedience, and so on. No, it's monks more like the Buddhist tradition. You go in, even as an older adult, spend a while, get yourself lined up, and you can leave, no problem. Or as a little child, you might be raised in the monastery from, like the Dalai Lama was, very young child, and they determined that he was the new Dalai Lama, and he just grew up to be the Dalai Lama, and he never had any other vocation or experience. I am married, have been married before, and I have kids, and I'm living alone in what I call the cloister of Esekiel, and I'm in Texas. I'm happily in touch with my wife, and she's at some distance, but we get along better than you can ever dream. I appointed myself a spiritual counselor. I think that's what I'm best at. And so my order or religious group or spiritual group is dedicated to bringing comfort and enlightenment and help to those living in these troubled times. It's very general, no particular rule yet set up or anything. I don't want to be, running anybody's life or having to make decisions about whether you can do this or do that. That's not what I want to do. But goodness, faith, love, charity, open-mindedness, tolerance, acceptance of the fact that we live on a tiny little dot in the cosmos. And if there are extraterrestrials visiting us, there's something up in the sky, that's for sure, making funny motions and stopping traffic at airports. There's something really, coming down on us, especially more and more recently. If those are advanced civilizations visiting us, sort of like when I go in my kitchen, I see the little tiny roaches and larger roaches. They get up to be about a half an inch long, running all around in my kitchen. They kind of manifest themselves like that when there's a plate with something edible for a roach in it, like unwashed plate or something in my sink. Then I'll have all these little visitors. And being a territorial animal, I make sure that I wash them down the sink or spray them with something or swat them with my hand or my fly swatter. And the guys up there, see us down here on Earth doing what we do, learning how to fly over the last 100 years, and gradually learning how to make atomic bomb and nuclear bomb, la 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 la. Make cars and increase our population, double it in the last 50 years or so. We're going to come into a really, really bad time, and it's coming really soon, where the results of all our pollution and waste and stupidity and not thinking ahead, it's going to come down on us, because there's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as a forever sustainable progress. That's some nonsense. And my favorite college teacher used to tell us back in 1955, 56, 58, GE's slogan, "Progress is our best product," is totally wrong. Progress is not a good thing. Yeah, iPads are better than the old crank telephones. But progress has to be sustainable. I don't want to get into that stuff. Common sense tells you that. You can't keep borrowing money if you're a country, whether you're Spain or Ireland or Greece or Italy, or the United States of America. You can't print more and more paper and make it money. It's all, we're in real crazy times when we're not thinking and not looking ahead. So what I want to do is help people work through those problems. We got people that are upset about politics. Come talk to somebody that loves you and knows a little bit about politics and cares. But I'm not beating the drum for this or that party or law or whatever. I just say, be good. Take care of your neighbor. Follow the Beatitudes. I think the Sermon on the Mount had some pretty good ideas. So anyway, I'm tired of talking, and you're probably tired of listening. Just to let you know that I'm not some kind of rigid guy and some kind of monk, I'll show you. Monks, I've been equipping my apartment, my cloister here, and monks, you can see that little guy over there. See, he's a skeleton head, a skull. You see that death's head there on my shelf? Yeah, I got that from Walmart for 75 cents after Halloween. The mandible, the jawbone is broken. Okay? And he's got in his mouth a little propeller. You'll see it stop pretty soon because I took away the fan that makes him go. And you see the other little propeller there. You see that? Well, I just want to let you know that I'm not some kind of serious, morbid type of monk and all that sort of stuff. Let's see if we can get a little closer. Let's see if we can get a little bit better view there. See him? And he's got this propeller. I want you to know that I'm not just a fool and not just a clown. I really care about things, but you have to, there goes his little red propeller. Come on, guy. Come on, come on. I'm adjusting a fan that's over there. You see, that's my fan there. You see the fan? Where is that? Where's my fan? There's the fan. And the fan is there to power the little guy and let his propeller spin. Let's see if I can do it. Come on, propeller. There. There. All right. So I'm a monk, and I know we all have to think about the ends of man's life, the death judgment, purgatory and hell and heaven and all that stuff. I mean, it's a lot of that depends on what your emphasis is all about, and my emphasis is not about God's vengeance on us. I don't think God's a crotchety old son of a gun like some people see when they talk about God. I don't, not that kind of, if I were God, I wouldn't be that kind of God, you know? And I wouldn't believe in a lot of the things that have been taught traditionally and by the great religions of the world, you know, the great Christian traditions that I'm very familiar with, grew up with them, and went to graduate school with monks and nuns and brothers and priests and stuff. And then I went to NYU and learned a lot of monks on the faculty there. And I went to the nuclear lab. I worked at the University of California, Chicago's Argonne Laboratory West on a breeder reactor project. I mean, I did a lot of stuff in my life, and I'm not some kind of morbid guy. If it's not fun, I don't do it. That's how I feel about jobs I've had. And if being a monk is not fun and a happy life, I don't want to do it. But I'm very, very, very happy as a monk. I really am. So, I don't know what to say except keep coming back to Dr. Hands-On Science channel and go to YouTube and find out what's happening at Astral Monk James at blogspot.com. That's a Google thing called Blogger. Here's, so again, some information about my name and all that, or if you care about it. You don't have to put the spaces up here. It's just Astral Monk James, like one big word. And you don't have to worry about, what does it say there, Reverend Brother James. It's just Reverend, that's just what we say, you know, when you have the collar on like this. Let's make you Reverend. Okay. It's supposed to be reverent. It's supposed to be kind and good. I like to do that. And the cloister here, I'm just starting off, so I don't have a lot of equipment. You want to send me big donations, that would be nice. I'm going to go to the clerk, try to get registered up as an official non-profit cloister or institute or something. I have figured that out this coming week. But anyway, you can get a hold of me, and Dr. Hands-On Science is my channel. It's also my Don't tell anybody what's my email address too. At Gmail, Dr. Hands-on-Science at Gmail. I don't like spam. If somebody wants to spam me and just put them on my spam list. But lay off the spam, folks. Okay? Be good to the old man, and he'll be good to you. Join me, work with me, or come to me online. I feel funny if somebody starts walking in my door over here, because this is the cloister, you know. Apartment 3207 is the only cloister in this big complex of buildings, but I'd feel funny if I start having people walking through here all the time. So you join me on Blogspot, join me on email, join me on the telephone, and I'm going to put up a little one-page website here and there. And I think I've got, I don't know, Astral Monk James is one of my URLs. What do you call that? Email, domain names, yeah. So I got these domain names, all right? And I got them through a famous company called GoDaddy. And I haven't had time to fool with that. But if that happens to be what you want to do in your old age, or you want to help me out, you can do some of that legwork for me. I'm too busy playing the guitar and entertaining the people at this place here and trying to cross town and play guitar down on 6th Street, which is where the live music is all the time. You find guitar players and singers on the corners down there in Austin, Texas, live music capital of the world. You know, what am I doing? I keep talking about everything under the sun, and you're not interested in that, are you? I don't know. You might be weird enough to be interested in that. I mean, weird. Let's talk about weird. Let's see that again. Like the propeller doesn't know which way to turn. Too much hot air. Well, listen, I'll see you later. I'm so glad to be able to talk to you. And whether you're in Wales or Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, all these different places that I have friends and people I love very much. Wherever you are, Long Vec, Phnom Penh, Boston, all of you out there, you know I love you. Keep in touch.